Welcome back, data leaders, Python learners, ChatGPT automators. Analyze Excel data at lightning speed. Automate Excel data analysis in 25 minutes, less than 25 minutes. The prompts, the 5 ChatGPT prompts for Excel analysis. So here we are having a challenge in our hand. You have got a folder full of Excel sheets sent out by the branch officers, and you want to automate the analysis of those Excel sheets, the data inside it, using Python. You heard it from your friend, or you heard it through, you read about it somewhere, and you want to give a try. But where to start? How to begin with Python? You are not aware of Python, or maybe you know Python to a certain extent, but you don't know what route or which strategy to take. You are still confused with the ecosystem of libraries available in Python. ChatGPT has got you covered. You can start from loading the data till creating the automation process inside your Python program using the prompts that is shown here. The prompts are a little longer than what is shown here, but we are going to practice with ChatGPT API so that you can keep track of what you are learning. The most important point is practice. The videos that I make are geared towards you taking the initiative and starting to practice, because automation takes effort. Initially, you have to put considerable amount of effort to learn, understand the system, and then set up the system. Once that is done, then the things will start moving by itself. You don't need to touch it. So the initial phase, since you are watching this video, you are in the initial phase. So you need to practice a considerable amount of time, and you need to solve small problems. So that will be how these videos will be created. So as you saw here, I start with the challenge, and then I try to provide the solutions. Without a clear challenge in front of us, we cannot even ask ChatGPT what we want. I mean, it will give any reply it wants, right? So how to practice? The practicing is best done when you have a proper platform. So the proper platform that I have in mind is Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks is a free open source application that anybody can download and install in their operating system if they have Python installed already. So all they need to do is do a pip install Jupyter. It will install Jupyter Notebook application. But you might be wondering, okay, I don't have Python in my operating system. What to do? So I have got you covered. So you come to my Insight Builder channel YouTube page, and if you go to Learn Data Engineering Problem Solving playlist, you will see that I have a list of videos that start by explaining how to set up Python, how to set up Git, and if you go a little bit down, it will show you how to set up Jupyter also. If you are not interested into going through all the Python steps, there is a faster way through ChatGPT again. In ChatGPT playlist that you see there, you will see that there is accelerated learning, master Python with 5 ChatGPT prompts. Again, that you can do it in less than 5 hours and get up to speed at the awesome rate. And for that also, you will be using the Jupyter Notebooks. So the Jupyter Notebooks that you are seeing here are available on the internet. You have to just download it using GitHub. Okay, the GitHub link will be this one. This is the GitHub link. You can use this GitHub link code to use git clone and get this folder, get python_de_learners folder in your operating system. This is the first and foremost step. So right now, if you have to get this particular, okay, just a minute, let me take a step back. If you have to get this particular page, you have to first of all install Python, set up the Jupyter Notebook by doing pip install Jupyter, and then you need to come to the terminal like this terminal in your place, and you need to go into the folder that you downloaded from the GitHub page. So my folder is here. So Python D, like how I did using CD in your command prompt, you need to do that, and you need to enter Jupyter Notebook. And the moment you enter this two words and press enter key on your keyboard, then the server, like what you see at the bottom, this is the server in my case, you will see the server spawns up, and you can use this server, and then in your browser you can open it. So the same IP address I am using here, and I am opening the server. So this is how you have to set up Jupyter Notebooks. So once you have set up come up to this point, the next step we are going to take is we have to go to OpenAI platform. The OpenAI platform is the place where the ChatGPT API is hosted. Okay, and you can take a look at the various details about the ChatGPT API in this particular link. So you can take a look at it. So do first sign in and get an account, and after that go to your account page, manage your account, and then go to settings page. I am not clicking that. Inside that you will get the organization name, and then go to API keys, and you will get the API key from there. Store both of these things. This is important because you will need this when we are going to automate the activity. Now we are going to go to playground. The playground, what we are going to do is we are going to select chat. In chat, first and foremost, you need to reduce this temperature to 0. Okay, keep this in 0, no issues. And you can say in the system that you are a master, not hamster, master Excel analyst, Excel and Pandas analyst. Okay, this is what we are going to tell, and we are going to say, give me 5 commands in Pandas to load the Excel file. Okay, I'm just giving blindly. Okay, I'm saying that give me 5 commands in Pandas to load Excel file. I have kept it in 0, and I am going to increase this to 500, and I say submit. The moment I submit, you will see that it is starting to give me the code, and it is actually giving me 5 different ways where I can start importing the Excel file into Pandas environment. And this is how we are going to start learning about Pandas and analysis also. So here I am just talking about loading the Excel file. The challenge here, you noticed it, I did everything manually. So where is automation part? How are you automating? And moreover, did you see this particular output here? It came in really fast, and I was talking, and before I could complete 10 words, it actually completed the entire 5 sentences. So it's extremely fast. So how to manage such content creation? The content that is created by machines have to be handled by machines, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to go to Jupyter Notebook. This is where we will start interacting with the ChatGPT API. So if you go to documentation, you can actually get the API reference here. In the API reference, you can click on models, and you will see you can click on chat. So this is a chat model. So you have to click on chat, and you can say create completions. So this is where I'm getting all these functions, in fact. So I'm just copying it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not typing all these functions. However, I am adding my additional ideas in this. Okay, even though the core function is given by OpenAI, I am additionally telling the function that additionally telling Python that I need to store whatever content I am getting from this API. Okay, what I mean by this? So whenever I am getting any output from the playground, so you saw that, right? In the playground, whenever you get the output, this output, you see the output is gone now. So how to get it back? You have to submit it again, right? You have to put the you have to enter the value here, and you have to enter the assistant type here. You have to give the command here again, and then you have to click submit. What if we can store the data? So that is possible. So this particular script that you are seeing will be storing all the questions that you are asking in a file called as Excel_master. How is this doing it? Okay, this particular function that you are seeing, I am actually jumping into this in the middle. I will explain to you step by step in a moment. So you see this Excel_master file. This is the file that is given to the function, and this function takes care of loading. So this part of the function will open this file and load the data that is coming from ChatGPT API and save it for us. This is all done automatically. This is the power of Jupyter Notebooks and Python. So you can take a look at the output here in just a moment. Yeah, you see. So I am asking the completion here, and you see the completion starts. So this is the output. That is how powerful ChatGPT API along with Python ecosystem is. Okay, that is what I wanted to show you. So let us continue. Let us start from the beginning. When you first of all start working on this particular file, in your ecosystem, in your operating system, you have to install OpenAI requests. You have to also install, you can actually install pandas also, because that is also required. You have to execute this particular cell. Now the question is how to execute this cell. You are new to Jupyter also. Jupyter is very intuitive to learn. Okay, all you need to do is click on this cell and press run. This cell will get executed. And click on this cell and press run. This cell will get executed. So once this cell executes, you will see that it becomes into star. And once the cell execution completes, then a number will occur. Okay, and this number is sequential in number. So if you execute this cell first, and if you execute this cell second, the number will be number 2. Okay, like this only it proceeds. You will also need to install the library called as tick token. This library helps to count the tokens that you are sending to ChatGPT API. In this particular video, we don't need to worry about the token exceeding the limit. Okay, what I mean by that, let me go to the documentation and let me show you that what is mean by token exceeding. So whenever we are prompting to ChatGPT API, the maximum token that we can provide, words are not the right way of describing what we do in language models like GPT. We only call them as tokens because these tokens are just numbers. Okay, numbers that are referenced internally by the model. So we can only give maximum of 4096 tokens to these two APIs, these two models. Okay, keep this in mind. That is why we are using this tick token to check the number of tokens each of the sentence or our prompt creates. So I have given an example here. So if you execute, you will get the answer 8. Okay. Next, what we are going to do is let us execute. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to check it. So if you check it, you will see that you will get the answer 8. And I am going to give a role to the ChatGPT AI that it is a master Python Pandas and Excel analyst. Okay, I am giving it a very, very huge power. And then this particular function is going to take multiple things. It will take your organization key, it will take your organization number, it will take your organization API key, it will take the role player, this role player, and it will take your request content. This request content is your prompt. Okay, and this way of creating messages. So you see here the role player, I am giving it as the starting. This is done by the system, and then the assistance, it actually replies that yes, I have assumed the role of the role player. So it will assume the role of this particular words, and then it will wait for the content. And once the reply comes from the API, this is the entire function that we will use, that is copied from the OpenAI that I showed earlier, OpenAI website. And when the data is coming from this response variable, I store that. First of all, I store that here. You see this? I store it as string inside the file name that is shown here. Okay, and after storing it, then I return means I actually give the value to the output. So this is how this function works. It looks long, it looks big, but the activity that it does is not that big. Okay, it goes, connects with the API and comes back, provides you the data and writes it to the file. That is all it does. And our first prompt, load Excel into Python. So this is the variable and this is the prompt. Okay, the prompt will be always in between these 3 double quotes. Why these 3 double quotes? Because the prompt will be long, and in Python or in coding languages, the command is given in a single line. But if you have to break the command, prompt is a command, right? If you have to break the command into multiple lines, then what you need to do is you have to use the triple quotes. That is how it works. So here I'm going to tell to the ChatGPT API AI that I am giving the information about my file. So I'm telling I have a file called data in Excel, data underscore in underscore Excel dot XLSX. Okay, I really have it. So let me show you. So if you go here, you see data underscore in dot underscore Excel underscore XLSX. That file is actually shared with you. In a moment, I will show you. And then I am telling that I am having data inside the database worksheet. So what I mean by this? So let us go to the next step. Let me show you the Excel sheet. So this is the, just a minute. So this is the Excel file that I'm talking about. So you see, this is the data underscore in.excel.xlsx. This has got the various columns and it has got these data inside the worksheet called as database. You see this here, this location. So this same thing, I am actually explaining it to the ChatGPT. I am explaining this, that I have this and I want to import this Excel file into Python Pandas, and I want ChatGPT to list 5 Pandas commands I can use to analyze the data. First, I want to load the data, then I want to analyze the data. And in the same command, I am not asking only one library, I am asking the second library also. Okay. And then it is going, and I am asking that in the OpenPyExcel library, I want it to list the commands to create charts. So both the things I am asking in one particular prompt. Okay. And after I make this prompt, I use this library, I use this function I showed you earlier, right? And I give my OpenAI organization key, the role player, and the load Excel, this variable into this particular function. And once I give this function and I ask for reply, I will get this reply. So you see this reply? This is the reply I will be getting. And the most important point is I will be using temperature as 0. Okay. You also should ensure that every time when you execute, you should ensure that the temperature is 0. This is important when you are learning. If you are actually working with ChatGPT for creative activities, or you don't want it to be repeatable, okay, this temperature is more like repeatability will be maximum. So ChatGPT's repeatability will be at the highest level. But if you go to one tended towards 1, then it will give new outputs for every time you query it. So it will have different outputs. Now the point is that you have asked this and you have got this output. Okay, and this output is extremely long, right? And it does lots of options in this. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do is, that is why we have Jupyter notebooks, right? We can actually try all these commands right below this output. Okay, this is what we are doing next. Before that, this same output is also stored in your Excel underscore master text file. This is the Excel underscore master text file. You see this here, right? The file name, and it has all the necessary commands that has come out. Okay, all the commands till the next completion, and it has given the examples also. So you see here, let us go back. First, we have got how to import. Okay, so let us start importing. So it is telling that it is telling me to import pandas library, so that I already installed. I asked you to install it at the top, right? So I already installed it, and we can use read underscore Excel. Yes, in pandas there is a read underscore Excel function. This will work. Okay, and using that Excel function, and I give the sheet name as database. So if you give this function like how I have done here, and if you execute it, the Excel file that you see here, this file that I showed a couple of minutes back, will get loaded into the pandas into Python execution environment, and you can see the output here. Okay, so by using database head, you can see the output here, and you can see the top 5 commands that we can use to analyze the data. First is head, second is describe, third is info, then group by, and pivot table. All these things we are going to try now. Okay, and you see that describes it in statistically. Head gives the first 5 or 6 rows of 6 rows of the data, and info provides each and every info of the column. So all these things provides a lots of information about the data set. That is the power of pandas. But when we asked ChatGPT, it actually gave us only the commands. It did not actually do the analysis for us. It did not actually load this. So don't mistake that it is not loading and analyzing this file. It is just telling, okay, you do it. It is instructing, it is requesting us to do it. Okay, keep this in mind. And we have done all these three: describe, info, we see that. And now we want to understand a little more about df.group_by, okay, and df.pivottable. We want to understand more because we don't know about analysis, correct? So we are asking, okay, I am telling that data is having what kind of column. So I know the columns, right? I know date, customer, gender, I say all these things. So I look at this in pandas. Object are usually of string type. So if you go up, you see these are all strings. You see that, right? This is also string. String means alphabets, characters, words, English words, or any other language words. And these are all numbers, okay? And this is date time. This is date time type. And I inform it. I inform ChatGPT that these looks sales reps, and also see there is a mistake in the column name, sales price. You will see in the future that ChatGPT will try to correct the when we make a mistake in our prompt, it will correct it. Okay, but in this case, we don't want it to correct. We want to keep it as sales price, right? But it will still correct it. So keep that in mind. So I asked for 3 examples for df and df group by and df pivot table, and I send this new prompt into ChatGPT, this particular function. And once I do that, you see that it starts giving the data. So it gives me the option that what we can do. So it tells that use this command. So df group by gender and put it into sales.sum. You will get the value like this. Now the challenge will start for us. See, what happens is this is actually taking an example file. This is not actually knowing or even understanding what we are typing here. So we are telling that we have these columns, but what ChatGPT is doing is it is taking its own example. Okay, now we have to modify this a bit. Okay, in our case, I am still using gender because I have gender in my column. I'm still using gender. And in case of sales, I have sales price. I don't have sale. I don't have a column called sales. So I have to use this. And once I use this, you see the output. It comes as per this feedback. So you see this, right? So here it's F and M. Here it is female and male. So based on its example. And then I am asking to do a pivot table. So pivot table, it is actually showing, if you come down, so it is showing again the same example it is telling, and is asking me to use these values. Okay, so it is giving me 3 values. It is saying values equal to sales, index equal to sales rep, and columns equal to category. In my case, I have a spelling mistake, right? I told you. So I keep it as sales price, and index is sales rep, and columns is categories. If you go, you will see that sales reps, categories, and sales price. I'm using that one. I'm using numbers for values, and for categories I'm using one string object, this one, and for sales reps is another string object. Once I do that, I get this output. So this is like the pivot table that we get in Excel. And then comes interesting part. What actually, if you come down here, if you look at it, Pandas is giving an option to convert the date format. Okay, it is saying use pandas pd.toDateTime. Why it is saying pd? It is not saying pandas, right? Because it is actually importing pandas as pd. So pd is an alias. And then it is saying to convert to toDateTime, and it is asking to use df in the bracket date. In our case, already our date column is in DateTime type. Okay. But when I explained to ChatGPT, I told that are not numbers. So I did not tell the date is a date time. I told that it is not a number. I gave the right answer. I did not actually lie, right? But still, ChatGPT cannot question you. Okay, it will not be able to question you back. This is the important point that you need to remember. Okay, so it is assuming that date time is of different type. So you don't need to actually do this. And next, customer count, group by date and customer. So I can count the number of customers. You can see that I am executing that also. We can execute that and we can see the count for each day. And next, what you are going to do is, now comes, I want to update additional examples for my group by, because I want to analyze the entire data and I want to come up with steps to do, right? So I want additional examples on group by. So then it gives me more examples. You see all these examples, and we can try all those examples. I have tried all those examples, but wherever it is necessary to change the spelling, change the column name, I have done the changes. Okay, and it goes even to tell me how to calculate the profit, profit column. So it actually tells me how to get this profit column. So this is actually given by that. And then we can actually use the group by to work on profit. We can use category to work on profit, product to work on group by on profit. So all these things I have tried here. Okay, and you can also check it out. And all the trials that I am doing, I am actually assigning variables, like how ChatGPT is telling. You can assign it to the variables, and you can refer to these variables by printing them. Okay, so you can try that in this Jupyter notebook, and it will work. And you can get the feedback immediately. And sometimes when you group by, you just copy it. Okay, for an example, you just copy this. Okay, and you paste it here, and you will get an error because there is no column in our data frame. So in database data frame, so this is the database data frame. Inside that, there is no column called category. There is a column called categories, but no category. So it will throw an error. It will say key error. So whenever you get an error, ensure that you go and check the columns. Okay, in the bottom it will be saying so key error category. So here I change it, and then I execute it. You see the values here. So all the commands that ChatGPT is providing is actually working in real Python Pandas library. So that is the reason why I am actually sharing it, and you will see the benefit in a couple of minutes. So I am doing all this analysis. You see all this data, and now I am further asking, give me 5 more examples on pivot table. So these are all on group by. Okay, now I am asking 5 more examples on pivot table, and you get 5 more examples here. So like this, actually, I am asking for 5 examples on pivot table. You can ask any number of examples. It is going to provide you, and you can change these columns also. You can change the type of analysis you want to make. You can ask for any kind of other different analysis, and ChatGPT will try to provide the best answer. Okay, it will provide the theoretical answer. Okay, let me show you something. Let us go to OpenAI Playground. Okay, and let us go to chat. You'll see something interesting. So I am saying you are just a minute, master Python data analyst, and I am going to remove this. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to just say submit. I did not give any prompt, but you saw that it is replying already. Okay, and it is replying so much just by giving this prompt itself. It is saying, as an AI model, I don't have expertise in Python Pandas and Excel, as I don't have practical experience. It is clearly telling that it doesn't have practical experience, but I can provide you with following information about Python and Pandas. It gives me the detail about Excel, and as a master Python Pandas and Excel analyst, you should have, and it is expecting us to be a master analyst and Excel, but we don't know, right? We don't know anything about it. That's how we are trying to interface with ChatGPT, but it still assumes that we are masters of Python and Pandas. Good understanding of data analysis and data management. You should be proficient with Python, Pandas, and Excel to perform data analysis task. Okay, so this is how you get the response from the ChatGPT API, because it does not understand the reality or experience anything. Okay, just for your realization, I wanted to share this. So let us further proceed. I got the 5 pivot table examples. I again and I have a idea. Okay, so obviously you need to change it, right? Whatever reply it comes from pandas, sorry, from ChatGPT is very long. Okay, there are lots of information which I don't need. There is lots of unwanted spaces, and you need to scroll it. So what I have done is I have just used again Python split method, Python for loop to actually reduce. So you see this double quotes, it is all removed, and the space is all removed. So here you only see the formula or the commands that we need to use. You have to just copy and paste it like this. Yeah, change the column names, because column names, the values are different. Okay, ensure that you change it, and if you do the pivot commands, it will work. Okay, I have tested it here also, and this is where it all comes to the final step. Okay, what I'm asking is to Python to ChatGPT that I have 10 Excel sheets with data in the database worksheet. So the same like how I showed you, and I am telling that how the data, what the data contains. I am giving the columns, etc. And I am asking it to provide me a Python script that loads the data from Excel in Pandas and analyzes it using 5 Pandas group by method and 5 pivot table method, and then writes the result to a result underscore Excel dot XLSX. I am giving this prompt to ChatGPT API. Yeah, keep this in mind. All these prompts that we are giving is getting stored here. So this is actually stored forever. So you see all this data, all these commands, it is stored forever. You can save this. I have already pushed it to GitHub, so it will be there forever. Okay. And the point is that here you see the entire script actually. So it starts by loading. Okay. It starts by loading. It is taking this command. So there is a command actually to load the file from 10 Excel sheets. Okay, so it starts doing that. This particular area where you see this pd.concat, this is actually not correct. When you try this, you will actually face an error. That is because I have told that there are 10 Excel sheets, but it is loading only one Excel sheet here. This is not correct. So when you get an error, what you need to do is, yeah, you heard me right. All you need to do is you have to again create a new prompt like this. You have to assign a new variable, and in the variable value, tell what error you are getting. Okay, so let me show you. So if I go down here, and if I just copy paste it, I'm just copy pasting it. I'm telling that error, rectify error, rectify error. Okay, and I say it seems I copy this completely. I copy this. It seems the command is not working. The following error is thrown. Could you help me? So that is how you ask the next question, and you prompt it, and after that you send this new prompt through this. Again, you are going to send a new prompt. Okay, and this time you are going to come here and you are going to ask it. So here you are going to say rectify error reply. Okay, you change this, you change it like this, and you say error reply, and you have to change it here. This is very important. You have to say rectify error. Okay, and then you execute it, you will get the new reply, and the new reply also will get stored in this master file. Okay, that is the benefit of all this. Okay, and the major point is that it is doing 10 different group by activity. Okay, the group by activity that we saw above, it is doing that, and it is also doing 10 pivot tables, and then it is writing the results, all the results of that using a writer class. It is using this to Excel method and using the writer. This form of writing is acceptable in Python, and it is writing that to the value called results.excel, this one. So we have told, right, results to the Excel file. So it is doing that, and it is telling, okay, the script assumes that your Excel file is named data.xlsx, and that 10 sheets, you see that 10 sheets containing the data are all named database. If your file and sheet names are different, you will need to adjust the script accordingly. Okay, the reason is I told 10 Excel sheets, okay, but for it should be Excel workbooks. The mistake is from my side. I should have told Excel workbooks, but I told as Excel sheets. So ChatGPT thought that I am talking about the individual worksheets. Okay, so let me tell you what it means. So let me go to the Excel once again. So in Excel, there will be multiple worksheets like this. So this is sheet 1, this is sheet 2. There can be multiple like this. So what is Excel thinking? What is ChatGPT thinking? That I have one Excel file with multiple sheets. But this Excel file in actual terminology is called as Excel workbook. So when we give the right terminology, then it will appropriately work. Okay, so that when you actually explain this, it will get confused. So ChatGPT will not be able to answer. But if we don't ask the right question, we will not get the right answer also. So this is also something that we need to keep in our mind. When we ask questions, we need to also recheck. Okay, are we asking right type of questions to ChatGPT? So yes, we have come to the conclusion of how to automate the Excel sheets process. Okay, assuming that all the files are in, all the data is in single Excel workbook, still it is an automation that has been done. If you have to do it in multiple Excel workbooks, just update this prompt and check it out how the reply comes, and I'm 100% sure that there will be a Python script that comes out and you can tweak it. You might still face some challenges, but you can tweak it by using various resources available, and do comment to me on the feedback on the YouTube comment section, and I will also provide assistance when I look at the comments. So as we saw that we have understood, we have actually gone through the entire process of getting the starting from the beginning, where we load the data, we understand the various group by and pivot commands, and we saw the examples given by the ChatGPT. We used them and we checked it using Jupyter Notebook environment, and then we also found how to automate. Okay, and we also faced the challenges when we gave the wrong information, we got the wrong output. So we need to give correct information to get correct output. In that way, we can actually automate Excel with much ease, and then we can present that final result as a single file to your stakeholders. How easy is that, and how much time it took? It took 40 minutes for me to explain, but for you to do this automation is going to take much lesser time once you understand how the ecosystem works. So that is what is the benefit of using Jupyter Notebooks, having understanding of how ChatGPT API works, how Python and the ecosystem around it, like Pandas and the libraries like OpenAI, TikToken, all these libraries work together. So these are all the important things that you need to be aware as we enter into the era of artificial intelligence. So the missions has to be tackled by missions. So, and how to tackle the missions? By practicing. To practice it by continuously programming it, trying to modify that, trying to understand how the output comes out. So we have to practice continuously. I hope you like my content. Do leave a like and share my content with others. That is very important as we are entering into the artificial intelligence era. Everybody, almost all of us, irrespective of our age, caste, creed, color, have to learn the programming language and problem solving through coding. This is becoming a very much important activity. The reason is the artificial intelligence like ChatGPT or other artificial intelligence in image generation also is generating content at a very fast rate. We have to understand how to manage these content and using programming only. We cannot, like a regular user, we cannot work with such a huge amount of text or content in manual way. It is humanly not possible. So what is possible humanly? To program and read the content using the programming languages like Python. Python is extremely easy. Jupyter Notebook setup is very easy. All you have seen it in this video, and I hope that you like this content. I will be again having one more video in a similar kind of setup where I explore the OpenPyXL library in Python. So that is another one library that is very prominent in Excel automation. It works in a very different way from Pandas. However, it has a different way of view of how to manipulate data inside that. Let me experiment with Pandas. Let me experiment with ChatGPT and then get back to you with that video. So till then, 4 words: practice, 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 practice. And see you guys. Have a nice and great time.